So I'm currently editing the video and I just realised I haven't filmed an intro for this, so this is me painting my skateboard. So this is the skateboard. It is not my favourite design ever on the deck. So I'm going to repaint it, that's the whole point. I'm testing it out now because I've never actually properly used it. I've had this since December, but this is the first time using it outside. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to put on it yet, but I don't really have any ideas for it. I'm thinking maybe like a neon kind of light with flowers vibe, maybe, but yeah, at the moment I don't really like it that much, so that's why we're customizing it. Okay, so here's the board. Kind of boring, don't like it at all. So here I am trying to be really smart. I want to sand off this like sticker, basically is what this design is, and I thought about taking off like the wheels and that to make it easier to sand and then ultimately paint later. Yeah, this is just a time lapse of me struggling to take them off and ultimately failing and just sanding round the wheels in the end. So yeah, here's me attempting that. But yeah, so sanding took a little longer than I thought. This one time that I'm sat here sanding was about 2 hours maybe, I think. And then I did actually come back and finish it off on a separate day, which I will explain a bit later. Okay, so ta-da! We have got the board completely sanded, unintentional, but I started peeling off just the top bit of the sticker. I mean, it's still around here because I can't really get that off. But all the paper bit of the sticker was going to stay, and then when I went back another day to finish off the last bit, whatever end it was, it started raining and most of the sticker just then ended up peeling off, so it's completely bare wood now, which should be easier to paint. So I've got to figure out what to paint on it now. So figuring out what I wanted to paint on began. I started off with scrolling through Pinterest just to get some rough ideas. I wasn't quite sure. I didn't like most of the deck designs I'd seen, so I started looking more what I liked, which is flowers, and tried to look at inspiration, but that didn't really end up working. So I took a picture of the board and began drawing out my designs or like thoughts I had. So this is kind of the neon flower thing that I mentioned previously that was kind of in my head, just like a rough sketch to get the general idea. I ended up drawing out on just paper what I thought might be a good idea and then colouring it in on my phone so I could do different designs. This is neon flowers but more of my stylized version with some butterflies as well. But I didn't really like that, and then I attempted this more checkerboard or chessboard kind of design on the background and then decided to do the flowers as sunflowers, and that's why I ended up deciding in the end. So I painted the entire board white, and then off camera I painted in all the black squares, and here unfortunately it's not quite in shot, but I then painted a very detailed sunflowers. Surprisingly, this didn't take that long. You can't really tell because it's like really sped up, but it didn't take that long. It was only a couple hours. I painted all 3 of the sunflowers. Now I did go back and then touch them up off camera, and also went and touched up a lot of the squares as well that were a bit messy. But yeah, you'll kind of see that in a second. Okay, so it is all painted. As you can see, I did the rest of it off camera just to tidy it all up. I mean, you didn't see much of it on camera. But there we go. It's now time to varnish it, so we're going to have that so paint doesn't chip off when I eventually use this. Yeah. So I just kind of just used a brush and just painted on the varnish or whatever. I did a couple coats as it was drying because it dried quite quickly. I also made sure to varnish the edges of the board as well because sanding caused some rough edges, and also just to make sure it was like completely sealed because I don't want to just randomly chip in. So it is now all done, complete, all varnished, You can kind of see it's more of a matte varnish, so it doesn't have as much shine to it, which is perfect. But yeah, so it is all
finally done. So I didn't really know what to do, so this is kind of a montage and just up close looking at it, but don't look too closely because then you see how messy it is. But yeah, this is just the finished deck or whatever. But yeah, so that was me finally getting around to painting my skateboard. As I mentioned before, I've had this since December and been planning to do it. I just haven't had the inspiration to come up with an idea to actually do it. But yeah, so this actually was a longer process than I thought because procrastinating is something I'm quite good at. Started this project in early July and I only finished painting it in like late August and finally got to finish filming this by early September, so there we go. Surprised I finally got it done. The only thing now is to actually learn how to use this skateboard. But yeah, so if you enjoyed, I guess you can like and subscribe and do the usual YouTube things. But yeah, thanks for watching, I guess.